Yeah, my name's David Barker. I'm the chairman of the Abbeyfield houses in Lytham. It's a post that I've taken on from January of this year, relatively new into it, so I'm still a bit of a new boy. I'm learning the tricks and the ropes, but I've got an extremely competent team of people that work with me, so that's making life quite easy for me.
So we'll go into what you actually do in a minute, but Abbeyfield, well, it's a great idea and it's right across the country. There are a lot of people that don't actually know what it is, so could you just tell us briefly what Abbeyfield nationally is, and then we'll go into the specifics about what you do.
Yeah, it's a UK-wide organisation, and we've got within that umbrella called Abbeyfield, there are about 700 individual houses and about 80 care homes. So it's quite a large organisation. There's quite a mix. Some of those homes are independently run, but essentially Abbeyfield is an umbrella organisation for different units throughout the UK. Essentially, the houses that are provided give what most people would term sheltered housing, sheltered type accommodation. Abbeyfield itself, if we can use a mission for it, the mission is really to enhance the quality of life for older people in the community. That's the overall mission. It seeks to provide these people with a safe environment, 2 nice meals each day, 24-hour emergency assistance, and all of that in a warm, friendly and caring environment. I guess the guiding principles overall as well are that we want people, older people, to feel that they're important, they have an important role within the family, within the community, and indeed with their friends as well. And for a lot of older people, loneliness really is quite an issue and quite a problem, particularly if they've lost a partner. So overcoming loneliness is something that we see as being extremely important to enhance the quality of older people's lives. And also that we want people within the community to recognise older people within that environment, and we want them to help elderly people in the community as well. So overall, that's the sort of guiding principles. That's what Abbeyfield's about, and I can talk a little bit more about the actual Lytham Abbeyfield shortly.
Right. Now, there's a big emphasis on independence, isn't there? It's really independent living under a what do I want to say? Within a communal environment.
That's right. Yeah. We very much recognise that older people, they do want a measure of independence, but a lot of them realise, and indeed their families realise, that they reach a point where they need some sort of support. They're not really capable any longer of living by themselves for all sorts of reasons. So that sort of support, whilst being independent within that secure environment, we see as being particularly important. But we do very much respect their independence and their privacy. So within the houses that we have in Lytham, for example, we've got 2 houses with 12 residents in one and 7 in another, and each of them has either a small flatlet or a room of their own which contains a kitchenette and bathroom type facilities as well. So it's their own home within the home with all that support function around it.
And they bring their own furniture, don't they?
Indeed, we encourage people to bring their own furniture. So typically, if you go inside one of these rooms, you'll find that they've got bits of their own furniture, obviously their own photographs, paintings on the wall, and so on. And that makes people, I think that's an important touch for people as well. It makes them feel that, yes, they've moved on to a different situation, but they've still got some connection with their previous home and house. Yeah.
Okay, so it's different across the country. Each area tends to have its own local Abbeyfield society. So how's it set up in Lytham?
Okay, yeah, we have essentially as I say, the houses are independently owned by the trustees, a board of trustees, run as a charity. Okay, so we actually own the houses. The houses are not owned by Abbeyfield centrally. They're owned by the local Abbeyfield organisation. Run by a volunteer trustee board, which has got a full management structure. I sit on top of that as the chairman, and we then got like a secretary, HR facility. We've got a full-time, well, not actually full-time, but a part-time admin assistant who does an enormous amount of work. We have a company secretary, as I've explained. And from a day-to-day point of view, we employ a full-time house manager. And they're really the key role within the organisation. They run the house, they run facilities for the residents, they ensure that they have 2 cooked meals a day, they ensure that if there's any needs they require, that they're fulfilled, and they're also a link with the residents' families as well. That manager has a deputy, also an employee of the organisation, so that when the manager's not there on a day off or on holiday, the deputy is there filling in for them. And those people will live in the house. So the house manager has accommodation in there, and the deputy, when they're on duty as well, they have accommodation that's available to them. Supporting those full-time employees, we also have a committee for each house, run entirely by volunteers, but extremely supportive, providing functions for the residents like art classes, take them out on trips and that sort of thing. Again, we see it as important that these people have a range of things to keep them active, to keep them interested. And one of the things about Abbeyfield that we are very keen on is that whilst people live independently within their own accommodation, we want them to come together. So we're very keen that people actually have their meals together in a communal environment. We don't encourage them to have their meals in their room. That's one of the things that we see as being very important. And that works very well. And we also, in both houses, we have a beautiful conservatory where the residents again can come together, different sort of functions in there that we have for them. But that's very much part of the job of the house manager and the deputy, is to provide that with the house committee, provide those things for the residents. Yeah.
And what sort of criteria do you have to meet to be able to be a resident at Abbeyfield, at your Abbeyfield?
Okay. We're looking for people essentially able retired, if I can use that expression. Age, not particularly an important thing, but obviously clearly there tend to be people getting older. Being able is very important. We are not a care home. We do not provide the sort of facility for... I see it as a bridge, if you like, between people leaving their homes where they feel they're no longer able, or their family have counselled them to say, look, mum or dad, we don't really feel you can sort of carry on like this. Abbeyfield provides the bridge before people, if they do need to go into a care home. This provides an environment for them where they've got more independence, they've got a level of care which is in the background there if it's needed. So that's one of the things. I mean, I've had aged parents who've gone through the care home system, and at a point where if I'd have known about Abbeyfield at that time, I'd have thought, what a brilliant idea, a different situation for them, which allows them to gain their independence for that much longer, but safely. A lot of comfort, I think, for families in that sort of thing. And we get tremendous feedback from their families saying, what a wonderful caring environment that we've got. Again, linking into the mission that we have, caring and secure.
So if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, well, this sounds good either for me or for a member of my family, what's the first step? What do they need to do? Okay.
Well, they can come along and see us. I mean, we do advertise when we have rooms available. We tend to use the local list in Lytham, but we've used other areas of advertising. And you do little things like I'm doing at the moment, where we try and publicise the fact that Abbeyfield exists. We occasionally have rooms that come available. Fortunately, at the moment, we're actually full, but things do change on a fairly rapid basis, and rooms become available. So generally, a family will come along, they'll look at the accommodation, they'll talk to mum or dad and say, well, have a look at this and see how you feel. Maybe come along and have a meal with us and see what you feel about things, and just get a general feel for it. And if it fits them, and importantly, if it fits us as well. So we're very frank, open, and honest about their ability to actually live within the house. As I say, we're not a care home. We cannot take people on who need significant care that we would find in a care home. But that's the first step.
And what sort of costs are we talking about?
The costs can vary, but significantly less than you would find in a care home. So it's a sort of rental that you would expect in a small flat or a bedsit, recognising that not only are you getting accommodation, but you're also getting meals and other support facilities as well. But it is much, much less than you would find in a care home, because obviously the level of support that's needed is much higher.